Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
So it was record-breaking amounts of rainfall. If you are in the Gulf Coast, if you're in Houston, Harvey dropped over 50 inches of rain. When all is said and done, Harvey will have dumped 1 million gallons of water per every man, woman, and child in Southeast Texas. And if you were there for it, if you lived through that, if you are living through that, you know what that means? That means that you, my friend, are a badass. That means you, my friend, have survived through the absolute worst that there is to offer. That means that you're still here. Doesn't matter what you're going through now. Doesn't matter what you've been through. You are still here. You are still breathing. And you are awesome. Storm came ashore on Friday near Corpus Christi. Most powerful hurricane to hit Texas in more than 50 years. The death toll, I think, is around 19 people and rising. Forced tens of thousands of people to evacuate. The financial devastation is estimated to be in the tens of billions of dollars. Late yesterday afternoon, I got a picture from a listener of The Buzz, the radio station that I'm on in Houston, Texas. Picture of a double rainbow over Houston. The rain's gone. The sky is blue. And there are two rainbows. And she felt like it was a sign from God. So proud of Houston, Texas. So proud of us as Americans. But this is why I love the people of Texas. It's this compassion. I love the fact that when it really matters, when the chips are down, the people of Houston are at their best. I've said it before, I'll say it again because it's so important. As you look to examples of people doing for each other, of people being first responders when first responders weren't showing up on the scene because they just couldn't be there. First responders became friends, neighbors, nearby strangers, people that were in any kind of position to help those that needed help. Proving immediately, instantly, that rain falls on all of us. Proving immediately that when that rain does fall, and every other day of the year, you know, we're not the color of our skin. We're not the person that we voted for. We're not the amount of money that we make. We're not our age. We're not a race. We're not a religion. We are not the things we have. We are not the car that we drive. We're not the home that we live in. We're not the team that we root for. We're Texans. We're Houston. We're Americans. Houston strong. All in it together as we respond first to those that need it around us. We are a people, we are a country whose greatness lies in the fact that we remember when the chips are down, when it really matters, when it really counts. We remember one very, very important thing. we remember that while no one can help everyone, everyone can help someone. Now, the storm barrels down on Louisiana, headed to places like Port Arthur and Orange. And as Houston begins to make its recovery, it's up to the people of Houston who have been helped out as we continue our repairs. But it's up to the people of Houston to start looking to return that favor and help all those wherever we can.
Real radio.
104.1.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
Every day you're going and working, running that rat race, and that pace and that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day.
You know, one of the things that has been evidenced by the events of the last week with relation to Harvey, it's the generosity of people all over the country. The Kardashians. Well, first and foremost, did you see the Kevin Hart Harvey challenge? Kevin Hart basically called a spade a spade. He was like, hey, real here. This hearts and mind stuff, this prayer stuff, that is important. But you know what we have? A certain subset of society that work in the entertainment business. You know what we've managed to amass a lot of, that a lot of people don't have money. We've got a lot of money. So Kevin Hart went, all right, here's the deal. I'm donating $25,000 and I'm challenging Jerry Seinfeld and The Rock and a bunch of other people to donate $25,000 too. And people have risen to the challenge. The Kardashians accepted Kevin Hart's challenge to donate, but they ponied up a lot more than $25,000. They gave $500,000. And if you think that's generous, Sandra Bullock just chipped in $1,000,000 by herself. Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez gave $25,000 each. The owner of the Houston Rockets, Leslie Alexander, initially donated $4 million. And as he saw exactly what was going on with Harvey, he was like, yeah, that's not going to cover it. $10 million. After tremendous waves of criticism, and you know, I don't like to get into this. I don't like to get into this, not because I'm not willing to call out hypocrisy, especially within large religious organizations. That's one of we hunt that stuff for sport on this show, but just because there's been so much going on and the facts aren't necessarily there yet. And maybe it's some research needed to be doing. Maybe there's some research that we need to do, and we have to figure out whether or not it's worth our time discuss, if it's productive or not to discuss it on the show. But after a massive wave of criticism, Pastor Joel Osteen announced that his Houston megachurch, Lakewood Church, is going to be open to evacuees after all. The church claimed that the interior flooding was the reason they didn't open up sooner. People went down to Lakewood Church and went, hey, it's elevated. This is a little drier. And, oh, look, because of the glass doors, we can see in. And that does not look wet to us. So there's a certain amount of controversy. But the bottom line is that Joel Osteen's megachurch, Lakewood in Houston, is serving as a shelter as we speak. Beyonce's from Houston. Beyonce's pastor talked to TMZ about what she's doing to help, but he refused to confirm this story that's floating around that she's already put up $7 million and plans to do more. He said that she doesn't like to publicize her charitable works. I don't know where they got that number from, but that's the rumor. All that's great. It's great. But man, it doesn't change the fact that, oh, it's nice when someone backs up a garbage truck full of cash and dumps it on a problem. That is incredibly valuable. But as much money might pony up, it really comes down to you, me, all of us, average, everyday people that can spare $1, $5, 50 cents, and our time and our care. If you go to this radio station's website, you're going to see at the top of the page, you're going to see a link to donate to the victims of Hurricane Harvey through the American Red Cross. It's an easy way to do it. But it's just been incredible. It's been incredible. J.J. Watt, unstoppable force of nature, both on the football field and off the football field. J.J. Watt started a goal of raising, I think it was $200,000. He was like, all right, we hope we can get to $200,000. Blew through that in about an hour and went, okay, let's try 500. Got to that in another hour. And a few days ago, I think J.J. Watt, who's been receiving donations from everyone from folks like you, me, and everybody else to owners of football teams. I think he's managed to raise something like over $6 million at this point. I don't know. And it doesn't seem to show any signs of stopping or slowing down. And I thought it was really, really cool. He was very cognizant of the fact that he said, I don't know. He said, I don't know where this is going to stop, how big we can go. I'm sure you're getting bored of me posting all these updates, but the one thing I can tell you is I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that this money goes directly to the people of Houston and the surrounding areas and helps them rebuild. Incredibly cognizant of something that victims of these situations have already begun, sadly, to worry about. Anyways, that is the situation. If you're able to donate, please do. There's been so many people from so many different towns that the social media efforts, I suppose, and that's been really, really cool. And that's one aspect that we haven't really dug into yet. There has been a historic digital precedent set with how Harvey was handled, and I think it saved many, many lives. Skills on the mic, we pay every day, and we're part of the battle. Just better act what you know. Down to the corner.
For more stimulation and less irritation, 9 out of 10 doctors choose KPRC AM 950, Houston's more stimulating talk radio.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on.
So, Harvey was historic and groundbreaking in many ways. The amount of rain that was dropped, over 50 inches, shatters previous records. Over 1 million gallons of water per every man, woman, and child in Southeast Texas when all is said and done. Absolutely insane. The other interesting precedent that it set was the last time something like this happened was probably Katrina. And it was first brought to my attention by the folks that ran the Cajun Navy. And by the way, you might have been hearing a little bit about the Cajun Navy in the press recently. And gone, what is a Cajun Navy? I wasn't aware that Louisiana had its own Navy. What's the deal with that? The Louisiana Cajun Navy started in a small town just outside of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And it was basically one guy with a 20-foot bass boat. This time last year, there was some incredible flooding in Louisiana, and they realized, we have boats. We can save some lives. And they knew as Harvey was barreling down that they could be of use. So before the storm had even made landfall, they were already on their way and hunkered down outside of Houston. And when they couldn't get in, they did eventually make it in, and they Oh my gosh, I don't think it's possible to calculate what 40 people or so from Louisiana with boats managed to do, the number of lives they managed to save in this situation. But I know it's substantial. I'm sure we'll get all these digits in as they start to roll through. But they, just normal people with boats that wanted to help, saved lives. And, well, one would have been enough. One would have justified the entire excursion. But we know it was so much more than that. But when they couldn't get in, they got on Facebook. They had, I think, at the time, I'm sure it's probably more now because there's been so much press on, 50,000 Facebook followers. And even though they couldn't physically help people when the storm was making landfall, they were able to locate people, help them find help direct people to them to get people out of tough spots. And they were like, during Katrina, this wasn't possible. When Katrina happened, Facebook was something that was used primarily by college students. There wasn't this massive people. And, we might all sort of like despise what the digital age has done to us as humans, but seeing this unfold, seeing this play out in front of my eyes, seeing folks like the Cajun Navy who couldn't physically help with their boats, but managed to save lives just by getting on their network of people and connecting folks and getting people to safety or getting people who were in a position to help. Man, so much more effective than wandering around shouting at the top of your lungs, does anyone need help? It was amazing. The radio station, if you're in Houston, you obviously know us. The radio station I work for in Houston, The Buzz, man, Teresa, who's on in our middays, deserves some kind of a medal. I just, That's a smart, compassionate, caring individual right there. You saw on her Twitter, her Facebook, her Instagram feeds, people saying, I'm trapped in my attic. I need help. Where are you? Okay. Hang something out the window. I'm talking to this person over here they're coming for you. Real time. Saw her save lives. That was unbelievable. Like I said, she deserves a medal or something. It is crazy to watch it happen. Absolutely crazy to watch it happen. As much as I'm not a fan of being on social media, as much as I kind of feel like we as a species, our humanity hasn't been able to catch up to the technology that we've been offered over the last couple of years. Like, if you're like me, you kind of believe that technology should have stopped around 1998. If we were all still on dial-up, that's about what we're equipped to deal with at the moment. Before Google, Facebook, and a couple of other companies essentially ran the universe. But I guess this past election just gone by was the first election that was won or lost on Facebook and Twitter. This was the first natural disaster, at least in America, to really play out on Twitter the way it did. I mean, there's been that function where people can mark themselves safe. But this is the first time that I think we've seen something like this play out in real time. We've been able to see lives saved because of Twitter, Facebook, different forms of social media. We've been able to see it happen right there in front of our eyes. And as much as I would say that if you want to live off the grid, that's your own business and you should probably live off the grid. In these situations, it's been unbelievably helpful. It's been unbelievably helpful to have that ability to reach out, use the hashtag Harvey SOS, and get immediate help from people who can see where you are, see how close help is, and send it to you. So, yeah, maybe get on Twitter if you are anywhere in the Orange or Port Arthur or Louisiana areas where Harvey is making its way and already starting to cause serious difficulties. I would definitely advise it. All right, Funkhauser. Let's we'll return to this in just a little bit. I found an interesting story about a bunch of companies that are donating over $1 million each to help victims of the Harvey hurricane. And we'll do that a little later on. Right now, though, let's take a look at some of the news.
Oh, okay, fine. Sounds good to me. Oh, well.
Before we do the news, Funkhauser, before we do the news,
okay.
You know what song I've had stuck in my head? Inexplicably came from absolutely nowhere. Haven't heard it on the radio, haven't seen it on TV, but what I can't stop singing to myself.
What?
It's from the 90s, and they're a one-hit wonder. I don't even know if I know the name of this band. I just know this song.
Is it Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken? Have the drumsticks?
No, that's Bare Naked Ladies.
That's
they had
stuck in my head all day.
Hits. Really?
Yeah.
And what's interesting is they borrowed that line from Busta Rhymes. And that was in Tribe Called Quest scenario. Yeah, Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken, was from the legendary Busta Rhymes spot on Tribe Called Quest scenario, the one that made people go, ooh, this Busta Rhymes guy that keeps showing up on everybody else's record is like the best part of every record. What the hell? So no, they got that from Busta Rhymes, and that is Bare Naked Ladies, and they're not a one-hit wonder. No. Guess again.
Oh, it could be any song in the world, really, you know. Did you hear it at the gas station?
This is the story of a girl.
Oh, that's Who Cried a River and Cried Over. Absolutely.
I bet you can't.
Is the name of the song.
I absolutely love her when she smiles. But do you remember the name of the band?
How many days? It'll come to me.
This is the story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world.
I don't remember.
I think that band's from... I'm pretty sure that band is from Long Island. And I saw them play something at Long Island back in the day. And I think they played that song 3 times.
Yeah, well, wouldn't you if that was yours?
What was interesting to me was the fact that they're from Long Island, and they go, this is a story of a girl. I was like, that's not how people from Long Island talk. I don't know what accent that is, but that's not the accent that you grow up with.
Do you remember their
Glen Clove or Lynbrook or whatever it was?
Do you remember their second hit, by the way?
Did they really have a second hit?
No, I can't recall.
Yeah. So what were they called? 9 days, 13 days, something? There was some amount of days, I think. There was some amount of days. And you know what? I'm not taking anything away from them. They had some success. They had a moment, and that's cool. But like for whatever weird ass reason, like I've woke up. Actually, you want to know, man? The human brain does really weird things.
I mean, they say
it is an earworm, but I hadn't seen it on TV. I hadn't seen it on TV. Okay, now I'm remembering. It's coming back to me. This is why this song is stuck in my head. Because, like I said, hadn't seen it on TV. Definitely hadn't heard it on the radio. But I got to go to a wedding soon, so I got another haircut the other day. I must have gotten a really good one because, like, I woke up with, as the kids say on the Instagrams, woke up like this. I would wake up and be like, hey, another perfect hair day. Great. I tend to shower at night to save a little time in the morning. I shower at night, so I sleep all fresh and clean, and I wake up ready to take on the world the next day. But I've like woken up with hair and gone like, you know what? Why mess with perfection? I'm just going to go through my day. Must be, like I said, a sign of a good haircut that I got at Floyd's 99.
So did you hear it while it was on, while you were getting a haircut, or did you wake up with that melody in your head? Stay
with me on this one, right. And it gets even more obscure. Stay with me on this one. So, as I'm waking up with immaculate hair, and it's so strange the way the human brain works, because I got to tell you, being part of Houston as this is unfolded, you just can't help but take on some of the emotion of the situation. And look, as I've said many times before, I'm fine. My place in Houston is on a high floor. I'm very lucky for that. I remembered on the air the other day that I've got a storage space. There's no way to get to it. Water around there has been really high. I might have lost a storage space full of something. But overall, I've been tremendously fortunate with all that stuff. And the thing is, you get you get into these situations, you see these situations, these incredible human situations where there's saving of lives and then sometimes loss of lives, and it plays out in front of you. And it's just, you can't help but take some of it on. A buddy of mine, James, who's been out in his boat helping to save people, he hit me up. He was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I've gotta let it all out. This is crazy. There's this buildup, and been strong for people, but he's like, it's the crying kids. When I pick the crying kids up in the boat, I know we're saving them. I know we are reuniting them with their families. But when you see the terror in their eyes, when you see the fear in their eyes, when you see what it is they're going through in the moment that you're saving them, you're going, God, why does this stuff have to happen to kids? And I gotta let it out. I gotta talk to someone about it. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, I'm almost in tears. I was like, what do you mean almost in tears? And he's got this incredible wife. I was like, you go hug that loving woman of yours and you let it all out. You let that dam burst because you need to, and you're gonna. And so there's just times throughout this past week just gone by where the dam has emotionally burst for all of us connected to this situation. But then you go from, for no real immediate reason, sobbing and being in tears, to all of a sudden singing one-hit wonders from the 90s and wondering how that one got in there. It's a very strange way to be. I'll get into how that song got in my head next. Yeah, because we tackle important issues. Radio. Radio. 104.1.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you my musical savior. Back once again, boy, AD again, nobody rock.
So it's been weird, the human condition that goes with this hurricane stuff. As I said, you can't help but absorb the emotion sometimes, and it comes out in odd ways. My friend James, who I was talking about, he was saying that, oh yeah,
This is the story of a girl.
Just to help you with the earworm. You can continue.
Well, did you hear that one line? Your hair never falls in quite the same. Your clothes never look as good the next day. Your hair never falls in quite the same way. You never seem to run out of things to say. This is the story of a girl. You know, I'm going to guess that band probably got signed when every record label saw that Third Eye Blind had turned into the biggest thing on the face of the planet in 1998 and decided they needed something that sounded like them. I think that's how that band happened. But nevertheless, like I said, I'm talking to my buddy James, who's been out in his boat saving people. And he said, it's the kids. It's rescuing the kids that gets me. And I was like, I would have thought that would feel great. Saving the life of a child. And he's like, it is great. And it's, you get them back to their families, and it's incredible. But in that moment, when you see the terror in their eyes, when you see what it is he's like, that is what gets me when the day's all done. That comes back to me. And I was like, you gotta let it all out at some point. And he was like, I do. And I am. And so you have these moments where the events of the day just come back to you, and you find yourself in tears while you're doing something completely mundane. You've been strong all day long, and then, you find yourself staring into a candy bar wrapper, the one thing that you've had to eat in the last, and something about the S in the word Snickers triggers you, and just, it's the waterworks. It's a really strange thing. I'm not trying to be odd with it. I'm just saying what happened and what's been happening to me and people that I've talked to. So you go through these moments of intense focus and concentration, and then these moments of, like I said, the dam breaking, where it all catches up to you. And then the weirdest freaking things, like the story of a girl. Absolutely. Or what's the song called, Funkhauser? And what is the name of the band? You found the song.
Absolutely. And then in parentheses, Story of a Girl by 9 Days.
9 days. It was 9 days. Okay. I knew it was a certain number of days. I wasn't sure if it was 9 or it was 13. But, I just thought of another one. Okay, this is even more obscure. Look up a band called Stroke 9 while we talk about this. But
Gonna mention that one.
oh, really? Really? I think they're from Long Island, too. I think that's why it's stuck in my freaking head, because I got a really good haircut a while ago, and personal grooming, besides showering when I've been able to, has not been super high on the list. But I got to tell you, I wake up and, like the kids say on the Instagrams, I go, why mess with perfection? Woke up like this. My hair is great. Stupid, I know. But then that line came back to me. Your hair the same way. From that song, your clothes never look as good the next day. Your hair never falls in quite the same way. You never seem to run out of things to say.
How many lovers would say?
And I found myself going like, what do you mean your hair never falls in quite the same way? And so mine looks great. I should contact this no-name band from Long Island from the 90s and let them know that's not always the case. Like I said, it's this weird piece of mental chewing gum that pops up when you're going through strange and stressful situations. So there's that. That was a fascinating insight into my mind there for a second, wasn't it, Funkhauser? That was time well spent on the air.
Well, you know, we learn something every day.
Super happy to know that.
Now they're also the earworm has been spread throughout the minds of all of our listeners now, and everyone's singing, well, your clothes never wear as well the next day. And so there.
What was the I'm trying to think. Oh, remember? Did you pull up Stroke 9? Little Black Backpack. I think the name was the song. Was the name of the song?
Oh, did I?
Well, I know it's a shame I can't show it. And I see
This is great. This is better than I remember it. Well done, Stroke 9.
It aged well, you're saying?
Oh, this is the part that made no sense.
Don't want to talk about it. I say, why not? Don't want to think about it. I say there's got to be some good reason for it.
Oh, Millhouse likes Stroke 9.
Turn around, he's on his back end. Don't want to tangle with you. I'd rather tangle with him. I think I'm gonna bash his head in. Be sure to concern you.
So for those who haven't figured out, we do the show from the house now. There you go.
All right. Do we have to listen to the rest of it? Can we bail from
we
there?
don't.
Okay.
No,
because it obviously affects Millhouse
It obviously affects Millhouse
in a nostalgic kind of way, probably.
Yeah. That's him recalling the 90s. You know what other song? Now we're going down this unfortunate 90s kind of one-hit wondery road. What was Blessed Union of Souls? Remember them?
You know, that didn't cross my plate until way later.
It did. You know the song that what the hell is their song?
Just because
she likes me for me. Not because I have a bunch of DVDs. And then like DVDs was like there was a line in a song like she likes me for me, not my collection of DVDs. And they had the sound of like a DVD fast forwarding or rewinding or something like that, being like, ooh, futuristic digital technology. You got to pull that one up, Funkhauser.
How about in the next one? Because we have to.
Yeah, okay. We should do some news, and when we come back, we'll listen to She Likes Me for Me by Blessed Union of Souls. It's Funkhauser and AD, and what?
Where are we going? What happened?
I don't know. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. It's been a long lot of things. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being part of our radio family, both on and off the air, online. Like I said earlier, as the time right in front of us on social media and things of that nature. You've been with us through a lot. There's people in Houston that have been with us through a lot. There's people in different towns that have been part of this massive social media effort to save and help those in the city of Houston and the surrounding areas that were affected by Hurricane Harvey. And I guess, like I said, it's all sort of coming out now, but you've been with us through it, thick and thin. Thank you.
Leave the stimulation to the professionals.
Everyone is so smart.
KPRC, more stimulating talk radio.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The dumbing up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
So she don't care about the Blessed Union of Souls.
She don't care about my money. And that's real good, cause I don't got a lot to spend. But if I did, it wouldn't mean nothing. She likes me for me, not because I look like Tyson Beckford with the charm of Robert Redford oozing out my ears. But what she sees are my faults and indecisions, my insecure conditions, and the tears upon the pillow that I shed. She don't care about.
I'm telling you, I didn't hear this growing up. I don't know this one. I know all the songs. I don't know this one.
Things like that.
We just missed the line about the collection of DVDs. Go back.
Oh, no. Okay, hold on.
She don't care about my big screen. My collection of DVDs. Things like that.
So futuristic. They probably spent like months getting that right in the studio. It's unbelievable. And all right, am I right in saying this is another thing that never would have existed if Third Eye Blind hadn't existed before it? Like that's basically what Stephen Jenkins and those guys are responsible for.
Yeah.
Like, that's.
Everybody sounds like a SoCal surfer.
All she has to say is when she likes me for me, not because I hang with Leonardo or that guy who played in Fargo. I think his name is Steve.
Pop culture references to Leonardo DiCaprio and Fargo. You know what? Those things have stood the test of time. They've held up. They've stuck around. I love the new Fargo series. I think that's great.
So they picked the right ones.
DiCaprio.
Then,
yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio went on to do some stuff. Mm-hmm. He was not a one-hit wonder. All right. Like I said, been through a lot over the last couple days. And I guess it's all sort of, as the flood waters have receded in Houston, Texas, so has a certain amount of the sanity and desire to keep it together. So thank you so much for being a part of our radio family. Thank you so much.
We're all getting through it together
on the air and online as well. All right, Funkhauser, what else is going on in the world?
Bachelor couple Nick and Vanessa have broken up.
Oh, so sad. All their friends said it was love at the first production meeting.
See, all of these screens say it's going to equal love. See all of these? It's going to take 6 episodes until...
I would imagine they knew the relationship was in trouble when they met on a television show where people fake being in love to be famous. That's a warning.
Yeah.
So had this particular bachelor couple, I don't pay attention to this sort of stuff, and sometimes you do, Funkhauser. You're a little bit more in touch with the reality TV game showing world, just because that you work in television production now, so you follow this sort of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did they get together? Were they supposed to be engaged? Was that supposed to be like a real marriage?
Well, this was okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please don't correct me because I don't care that much. But from what I understand, Nick has been in several episodes. He's the blonde fellow, I believe, and he kept hooking up with girls and thinking you'd think it's going to work out, and then something happens and they break up. So he's a serial breaker-upper in public. So, and I can't remember who Vanessa is, but I think she's one of the crazy ones. This sounds like a set-up situation.
Yeah, I respect you more because you don't remember who Vanessa is. Weirdly enough, though, isn't there like one couple, and I don't know if they met on The Bachelor or it was some weird, hey, let's get married. It was like the first let's get married on TV couple Trista and Ryan. Is there a Trista and a Ryan?
This sounds about right. Sure. Trista?
Are they still together? I think they're still together. And if they're not still together, they had like a reasonably long run at it, like over a 10-year relationship / marriage that, hey, look, that's more than a lot of people that don't meet on TV or in any other way, shape, or form can manage. So there was at least one example of that thing working out. So good for Trista and Ryan.
I'm sure there's more that we can't think of. It's like 27 seasons. It's been on the air for so long.
Kind of proud of the fact that we can't think of more. Go on.
Critics say Taylor Swift's new song continues her habit of playing the victim.
Yeah, well, don't expect that to change with the release of her next single. Screw you, people who say I always play the victim. Screw you. What's the new one
called?
Screw
you. Ooh, 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 ooh. Look what you made me do.
I think I heard that for the first time the other day. I heard it in the background somewhere, and I was like, "Is this that new?" Like, wasn't it ridiculous? Something like 100 million views on YouTube in an hour or something.
Probably. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
I just watched the lyric video because I wanted to see the words.
I'm sure they're good words, excellent words, the best words. Go on.
Burning Man kicked off in the Nevada desert.
Multi-day event of drugs, sex, and partying. Which is why I'm surprised more people don't call it Sheena-palooza. Meanwhile, Burning Woman apparently can still be found in any bath. Getting busy with Usher. Did we ever figure out if he really was giving all those girls VD? Because he was being sued. Like a couple different people said Usher picked them up at a concert. They got it on, and he did not disclose the fact that he had herpes to them, and they were met with itchy, burning sensations in sensitive areas and went after him for large amounts of money. I think that the person who was really going after him, I think she sort of went away. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Money tends to do that to people.
Hey, here's the thing. We do not know. We don't know if Usher has VD, and this is just an allegation that's been made against him. But doesn't everyone have herpes now, Funkhauser? Like, what is that? More people have that one simplex, like the HPV, genital warts, whatever you want to call it. More people have that than not, right?
I don't know. I think so. It's like 1 in 4 or something. I'm not.
No, I think it's over 50% now.
Really? Ooh.
Yeah. So have
time
fun
to
on
update
Bumble.
the old resume.
Right. Well, it's crazy, and sort of. I think I have been tested out the yang, and when I was around 18 years old or so, I made a decision. I became, I guess, this thing called straight edge, which means you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't believe in casual sex, you don't do drugs, you don't do a lot of things a lot of people consider to be a lot of fun, but it kind of simplifies and focuses your life, and it was the right decision for me. The not having casual sex thing, and there was a veritable buffet available to one that grew up the way I did in England, where I think at the time people back about that kind of thing, and then throw in the fact that I was a teenager in a band with a tour bus. There were many opportunities that I passed up, and part of the reason for doing that was because I got tested out the yang. I grew up in the 80s and 90s seeing all these things about how this thing AIDS is going to kill you. Like that was my first real kind of indoctrination into the world of sex. Seeing when I'm 5 years old, there's this new thing called AIDS, and it's going to kill you, and you get it from having sex. And it didn't stop me from getting busy, but safe sex, the practice of sex with a condom, was always just something that in my mind you did. People were like, really? You never? No, don't want to die. I was taught, I got it ingrained, linked up in my very young mind that sex without a condom kills you. And then I got it linked up in my young mind that a lot of people have herpes, and you can't do anything about that, and condoms don't necessarily protect from that. So I've been unbelievably selective and have racked up extraordinarily small, and some would say unmanly, numbers in terms of bedroom activities. And a big part of that was because, I'm 100% terrified of diseases and germs. And, because I grew up in this situation where people said you should just get tested all the time for peace of mind. As a teenager, I got tested before I lost my virginity. It's true. I went to a clinic. I was like, this is what we're supposed to do. And they're like, how many partners have you had in the last year? I was like, none. I haven't.
Zero,
and
sir.
They're like, why are you here? I was like, because I heard that you should get tested all the time.
Touch some dirty doorknobs.
They're like, well, we're happy to tell you, you got nothing. Maybe wait until a little later on when you've had a little bit more luck in the boudoir to come back and get your next test. But yeah, so for that reason, I've been tested out the yang. I've been very selective, and I'm quite inexperienced in that department, and not ashamed to say so. However, as we talk about the idea that Usher might have some kind of herpes, I think that puts him in line with over 50% of the population in this day and age, which is kind of a scary thing. But we don't know what he does or doesn't have, so we should move on. But always good to err on the side of caution.
Michael Jackson would have been 59 today. That's ignorant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he'd be approaching the age where moonwalking would be replaced by mall walking. Go on.
Bill Nye the Science Guy says Disney owes him $9 million. Bill.
Okay. All right. Let's be careful how we say this. Funkhauser, you're a user of the old rubber prophylactic, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What about when you've been in long-term relationships, like a year plus, or no?
I mean, eventually it wears off. Sure, if you trust your partner and all of the other things, yeah, I guess it'd be all right. I mean,
there's trust, and then there's getting tested. Did you go get tested?
Oh yeah,
together.
Always. Oh, together?
Well, not together, but at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, we had read each other's charts, and so yeah,
yeah. Only because, like, a buddy of mine recently got out of a long-term relationship, and I got to be delicate with how I phrase this. You know how most guys don't enjoy the rubber prophylactic, or at least that's what we've been led to believe. Ooh, gosh, no, it's not as good with that, is what you hear, right? This guy got out of a long-term relationship, and he's like, dude, I've been with the same girl for almost a decade, and we've been broken up for a while now, and I'm just starting to sort of like get out there again, and I've had a couple of physical encounters with a female, and I am a god in the sack now. I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, condoms, man, they're the absolute best. I can't really and what it was he realized that
he initialized his cloak and shield, and now he is less
he initialized his cloak and shield, and he is now impervious.
Yes.
And therefore more able to go the distance, more stallion-like. He's basically less sensitive because he started using condoms, and he's like, oh my gosh, I am never going back to not using condoms because I am a sexual wizard now. I was a short-term disappointment for the last 10 years. I did not have the ability to get my ex where she had to go. Maybe this is why we're not together anymore. But now I'm using condoms. I am a sexual god. I was like, this is entirely too information, which I just passed on to you. All right, then. We really have covered everything today. Thank you so much for being a part of our radio family.